Hi, Nicole. Thank you for participating with Everything CapeTown.com's phenomenal Everyday Woman series that we're doing
Hi,
for
Layla.
August 2022. Can you tell us who you are and what do you do?
First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm super excited. So I'm Nicole Rynhoud. I'm 33. I'm a mommy. I'm a wife. I'm also a personal trainer. I'm also a network marketing professional. I do
wow.
podcasts. I'm a homemaker. I love being in the kitchen. So, just trying to juggle all of these things. But at a phase in my life where I realized, you know what, if you want to have it all, you can, and do things that just makes you feel alive. So that's what I'm about, just doing things I'm passionate about, things that makes me excited. Life is short.
Yes.
And I want to live it with excitement and passion, and so that's me. Very energetic, as you can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have to come with that energy, if we need stuff to get done also.
100%. I grew up with a lot of people telling me that I'm very assertive, and I try to there's something that I hold very dear, and it's one of my values. So I'm always just going to lead and try to get the job done. And
Yes.
I've realized, because that is a value and that is a strong attribute, instead of coming across as maybe it's too strong, just use it as my strength, and just use it to drive and use it to make things happen. So there's work for me thus far.
That's awesome. And obviously with everything that you're doing at the moment, you also have to have that level head about going around things and getting things done,
Yeah, for sure. You do have to have, you need to know what you want, Layla.
Yes.
I feel like if you don't know what it is that you want out of life, you will sort of just go around aimlessly, and you'll jump from one thing to the next. And it's human nature to only be able to focus on one thing. So once you establish what it is that you want out of life, like for me, it's wellness. For me, I want to live well. And now I'm busy figuring out the things for me, because we're all different. So now I'm figuring out the things for me that makes me feel well. And that's how, So I think once you've established that, then you'll have direction.
Yes.
In terms of, your life and your purpose and whatever that is for you. But if you don't find that, you'll find a lot of people just sort of existing.
Oh, what a powerful but simple statement you've just made, because we're just trying to break that barrier of just existing. It's such a thing where, you next thing, I don't want to wake up one day and be like, what happened in my life? How did I get here? And so, and I think that's why we were put this on this earth, not just to exist, but to, I don't know, make a difference, uplift, figure out better ways to do things. Yeah.
You know what the problem is? That people's idea of impact is a bit warped. You think if you have a prestigious job title, let's say doctor, lawyer, sort of like the usual things people think about, that's the only way you can make an impact. Or if you on TV, that's the only way you can make an impact. Or you a sports superstar, that's the only way. But what about we share in common, Layla, that we mommies to toddlers?
Yes.
It's so overwhelming. I realize that now, being a mom, and in this day and age, with so many other factors, jobs, careers, domestic situation, whatever it is, that's where you make the biggest impact. You've got the job to mold that young mind so that they can be impactful as an adult. And I think we take away, a lot of people think, oh, I'm a mommy, I'm not important. Oh, I've got maybe a lower paying job. Let's take teachers, for example. They don't get paid what they worth, but
I
they are
know.
responsible for molding
Exactly. Our
out the
next
minds. And
generation
because,
and
exactly, and because nobody's taking care of the teachers, we're not getting quality out there because
yes.
they're not being taken care of. So I think the narrative needs to change in terms of where you can make impact, and the impact starts with every single individual finding out what they what it is that they want out of life, and then focus on that one thing.
I love that you said that because I've been mentioning it quite a few times because it helping as I speak about it, it helps embed in my mind because I've recently learned about it. It's like finding your purpose. What do you want out of life? But that purpose will help drive getting what you want out of life, you know? Or the why, find your why. Yeah. So thanks for sharing a little. Can you tell us, of course, being a mom of a toddler, it is difficult and you try to be present in every aspect that you can. It does get overwhelming and it's okay to say it's overwhelming, you know. Any challenges that you face with, especially because you're so versatile in everything that you're doing. Any challenges that you might want to speak about with us?
I think this is something not a lot of people speak about, a lot of moms are made aware of, but I've only got one child so far, please put it out there.
Yes, so far, yes.
so
God
far,
willing.
God willing. And what we don't speak about is that we go through a process where we mourn the woman we used to be, and we mourn the person we used to be. And sometimes we don't even know why we're feeling that way. It's like a literal feeling of loss, and you don't even realize that that is happening. But now you've got to put on, your mom cap and get into that mode and be there
Yes.
for this little one that you've literally got to keep alive. Because I found myself in that position where I just felt burnt out. I felt overwhelmed. Trying to find my purpose, I'm not knowing who I am anymore.
Yes.
And as I'm currently going through that journey, Layla, so it's not that I've just suddenly found an answer. Realizing, oh, this is what happened. I mourned a former me. So now I get to, I believe in my creator, and I believe we were put on this earth to create. So why not create exactly who I envision myself to be?
Yes.
Let go of what was, because there's never ever gonna be again. My child is here now. I am a mommy. We planned this. I'm grateful. She's beautiful. But now I've got to also establish that I'm more than a mom.
Yes.
That I'm more than a wife. That I'm more than just a daughter. That I've got my own identity as well. And we as women, we forget our identity.
Oh, so on point. I love that. And especially for young moms, I think within the, how can I say, where we are in a society right now, I think we're heading there, but it's still a very slow subject or sore subject because, we're trying to break that conditioned mindset of you just as a mom or just as a woman in general, you just start to fade away because it's all about the family or husband's work or schooling, that type of thing. But no, it doesn't need to be that way. So,
and you are in control. I think a lot of people forget that you in control of your life. You can change the narrative. Like, you can just decide one day, this is not who I want to be. This is who I am, or this is who I envision, and then start living in that way. And sometimes it's difficult because you go through sort of like imposter syndrome. Yes. I don't know if you know what that is, where you try something new, try a new image, but it doesn't feel like you yet, but that's how you see yourself. And in the beginning, it's gonna feel weird.
Yes.
It's gonna feel like, but with the repetition, you mentioned that at the beginning of this Zoom, with that repetition, eventually it starts to stick, and eventually you believe that's who you are.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, I didn't feel like I had a voice or anything to say of relevance. So I'd always sit and I would observe. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that there's just certain things you've got to speak on. I used to be such a hothead. Let me tell you, I'm an entrepreneur because I think I might have a little bit of a problem with authority. Just like, but I've realized that about myself. I don't like being confined for 8 to 9 hours in a space that's not who I am. I always want to create and meet people, but do it on my terms. So it wasn't a issue that I had a problem with authority when I was an employee. That's what I thought at the time. In retrospect, it's just I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I would like sell pancakes at school, you know, that type of thing.
Yes.
So it took a while for me to realize that, and because I thought I just had a problem with authority, and I was a bit more reactive. If I had a male manager, for example, and he did something or said something that was against my values, or I didn't like his tone, I'd immediately hop on that.
Yes.
And I would match his energy. So we would get into verbal arguments, it would get heated. Nobody left feeling amazing, and my energy was always disrupted. So I was just always reactive. Then I started seeing a life coach. And I would recommend a life coach to anybody that's, you know, within the means to do so. I literally, in the beginning, bartered services with my life coach. So I'm a personal trainer. I couldn't afford him. I needed his services. He needed mine, and we bartered services. So guys, I think out of the box when it comes to things that you need that's going to help you grow, and think what if you don't have the financial means, think about what you can offer in exchange for what you need.
I'm glad
I do that with a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up, because I've done it myself, bartered in your service to help you, but also help the next person who you bartered in with. And if they're open to it, then why not, you know?
Exactly. So so that's the type of, and then through my life coach and other life experiences, I've learned, you know what, my power as a woman is to be a woman. As a woman, we are soft, we are feminine, we are not reactive. Our power lies in us being quiet and us observing, and then using our intuition, because we all know that gut feeling that we have with in terms of decisions that we've got to make. But as a woman, we've got to be soft, and we've got to just quiet ourselves. I'm not saying let people condescend and walk over us, but I've learned that when I match that energy, that negative energy, nobody wins.
Yes.
Nobody wins. When I'm softer and I'm just a bit more feminine, and nobody gets mad at you. People are just more receptive.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, people are more willing and able to now work with you instead of working against you.
Yeah. And I guess that's also where alignment comes in. The right people you'll attract, or they will be attracted to you in the same sense. And it just
100%.
Yeah. I would like to speak on, well, before we end our chat, you know, maybe about the personal training side of what you do, because that's your livelihood in essence. So if you don't mind taking us through that a little bit.
Okay, so let me give you a little bit of a backstory. So in 2014, I decided to completely do a 180 on my life. I used to be 105 kilograms. I was so out of shape. This was pre-kids, I was single, out of shape, a negative mindset, running with the wrong circles, feeling depressed, anxious all the time, had no, like, just little self-worth, like, and, I got out of a toxic relationship, and then went through that struggle for about a year and a half, and just gained weight at that time, and gained weight. And one day I just woke up, looked in the mirror, and didn't like who I see, didn't recognize this person anymore. And
Yes.
I, just decided, okay, I need to do something about it. And all I wanted to do was just lose 10 Ks because I felt like my partner and the infidelity at the way I looked. And I took a lot of that on me, and I thought, it was all me. In retrospect, I realized that it wasn't. I contributed to the toxicity of the relationship, but the infidelity wasn't because I'm a bad person or because I did something wrong. But I went through that. I came out of that and opened my eyes one day and realized, hey, Nicole, but you really overweight. You're not fitting into any of your clothes. You have retreated into the shell. You don't want to see your friends anymore. I didn't recognize myself.
Yes.
And then found myself a coach, decided to go on some weight loss challenges, lost my first 10 kilograms, was super excited. And in that first year, I lost about 20. In a nutshell, I went on to lose like over 43 Ks.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thanks, my love. And I got into like the best shape of my life. I never felt that confident, and it wasn't just a physical change for me. It was such a mental and emotional change. And through that 2-year process that I lost all that weight, there was a lot of healing as well.
Yes.
So my background at the time was I was in HR, working for Department of Health. And the beginning of that year, 2014, I quit my job, nothing to fall back on. That was the level of my depression. I was like, if I leave now, nobody's going to miss me. Nobody's going to even notice. I hate my job so much. I had no backup plan. And I walked in, I gave a minute's notice. And then a couple of months after that, I started my weight loss journey. And then I fell in love with fitness and health. And so I thought, I hate HR. And for anybody that does HR and you love it, great. I'm super happy for you. It just wasn't for me. It was, just doing admin, being in that confined space. And I studied personal training, got my qualification, and years later, this is where I am.
Yeah.
So for me in this industry, what I notice at the particular gym that I work at, I'm the only female personal trainer.
What? Still today?
Yeah, still today. And in the gym franchise I'm with, I'm able to train at any gym. And I'm in the northern suburbs.
Yes.
And I'm so shocked to find that there's no practicing female PTs. And I'm just, it's first of all, it is a male dominated industry.
Yeah.
And second of all, I'm just like gap in the market, eh?
So that's exciting
for me, but it's just interesting to note that that this isn't, sort of like an equally balanced market. A lot of women now, I think the focus, I've been fat shamed, I've been body shamed, I've been, people's audible out there. And I think the focus is being changed to, I want to be fit, I want to be healthy, instead of I want to be skinny.
Yes.
And this is my passion, because I know what it's like to be a heavy girl. I know what it's like to feel like you get treated a certain way when you're a big girl, because now that I'm fit, there is more privilege, there is more respect, there is more attention, and none of those things impress me. You've got to, because I know you would have treated me differently if I was a bigger girl.
Yes.
That's the reality. So rather impress me by your character. I want to know who you are, because I've been on the other side. So people judge me now based on, when they meet me, and I do look fit. But then they judge me also on a physical level.
And so it doesn't end. It doesn't end.
It doesn't end. It's very interesting. So my goal is, I want to make women just feel confident and proud of who they are. We are so diverse. We've got different bodies. But judge people based on their character, on who they are, because your size doesn't tell me who you are, what you've done. I know nothing.
Yeah.
So I just want women to feel amazing. Like,
I
I know
love
what
it.
it's like, you know, with sore feet, backache,
Yeah,
um, you know, bending over. You've got a big stomach, bending over and cutting off your own circulation.
yeah.
Things, you know, things that are
Also,
so vivid
simple
in my
things like
mind
cutting your
still.
toenails is like,
Yes,
simple
it's such an
things.
effort.
Yeah. Firstly, I would like to say sorry for, your backstory of what happened to you in the past. It's never it's not a nice story to ever hear somebody going through it. And you definitely won't be the last person. I mean, it happens, which is the saddest part. So we do apologize. And thank you for using this platform to speaking about it. Yeah. But we're glad it did happen because I think sometimes some things happen in your life for you to just get a wake up call.
I'm very glad it happened.
Yeah.
Really.
So thanks for that. Um, Being in the space that you are at now, and because personal training also comes in the form of motivation, um, is there any woman that's in your life that has inspired you, personal or professionally?
My mother, my mother raised 3 kids. Both my parents are still alive, but my mom's always just given me such amazing advice, and she's always pushed me to do my best, and she's pushed me to be happy. And when I have conversations with her every single day, thank God for video calls and technology.
Yes.
Um, so we chat every day, and she always says, "I can see how happy you are, and that makes my heart happy."
Oh,
And
that's
um,
amazing. And that must be so heartfelt because that's what a mother wants. As long as the kids are happy, they content.
exactly, exactly. So um, my mom is my number one motivator, and I make a point of life is short, man, Layla, and we've seen now in the last couple of years, we've seen things. Um, a lot of people have lost family members, so I'm very aware of that. Like, speak every day, be in contact every day. So my mom is my biggest. She always leads me and my siblings and our family through prayer. You know, that
Yes.
is super important. God first,
Oh wow,
just
true.
trust.
Yeah.
And then in terms of I've realized my blueprint, who I am. I want to be fit. It makes me feel amazing. I love being healthy. So I follow people like Samantha Clayton. She's an Olympian and she's got an amazing body and she's got 4 kids, you know.
Yo.
So
Yes.
it's the mommies for me. There's this couple I follow on Instagram. They are called Fit Couple. And the woman as well, she's got 2 or 3 kids just in insane shape. And I'm always inspired by that because I work with a lot of women. And because I used to be heavy, and I know their mindset. I know when that negativity is creeping in, and I know when that self-doubt is creeping in, and I know when that unworthiness is creeping in because I've gone through that. Um, and we come up with all sorts of excuses as to why we cannot be healthy. Nobody
Yes.
needs to all be fit, nobody needs to all be skinny, but you do have a responsibility to take care of your body. There's one machine, there's one complex machine God has given us. You
Yeah.
know, you're not going to go through diesel in a petrol car, but you want to continuously do things that's toxic for your body. And I love custard donuts on a Friday night with a glass of red wine, and I have it every Friday night. you know, and it's about that balance. But I can no longer be eating junk food 3-4 times a week, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. I can't live like that anymore because that would no.
Yeah.
I remember how I felt. I remember not having energy. I remember not being able to drive. So I used to live in Strandfontein and work in Caledon
Okay.
and study at CPUT. So there was a daily
Oh
commute.
wow.
I could not stay awake for
Mm.
that commute. I couldn't drive. I needed to let my colleague drive on my behalf because I knew I didn't have the energy to stay awake. That's not a life to live. Nobody should be lacking energy. And now that I know better, and now that I've got constant energy, I've got a job out there to share that,
Yes.
to make people, make women realize, hey, but there is a better way. The way you're feeling right now doesn't need to be that way, but to get them to a point where they understand that they are in control. It
Mm-hmm.
literally starts with an apple a day. You think that saying is there for nothing. It's
Yes.
about building the healthy habits. That's what it's a metaphor for. And then go have an apple a day, not have 7 apples in one day and think,
But
you know,
and I think with myself as well, you don't need to rush into it. It's one step at a time, one small habit, breaking one habit at a time or something, you know?
exactly.
Yeah. Let's before we end off, you mentioned briefly that you're still in a like dominant industry. How do you break the barrier or the bias about that? What can women do out there to get more into the space? Because yeah, you being the only fitness trainer, it's crazy. Like to hear that.
Um, I don't think it's very difficult to get into the space, Layla. It starts with a decision. Um, I got fit. I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I thought to myself, "Hey, what if I go study this?"
Yeah.
There wasn't any doubt as to what will people think. Is this the right thing for me? It felt like the right thing for me because I feel like the gym is my playground and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I wanted to learn more about it. You can sign up anywhere and they will allow you to study, whether you're male or female. So
Yes.
your gender is not the issue. Um, and then, working in the gym environment, there's not another Nicole like me. I can't compare myself to the
Correct.
to the other males in my environment, and they can't compare themselves to me. I bring something different and something unique to the table.
Yes.
I
So
don't
true.
feel intimidated, and I don't think my colleagues feel intimidated by me either. Um, yeah, I think my nature is just to be friendly. In this industry, you've got to be confident, and I don't always feel super confident these days. Like today, I'm feeling cute. I don't always feel this way.
Yeah.
I don't always feel this way, and that's okay. You've got to realize that you don't always have to be positive. Um, but in this industry, you've got to have some level of confidence. You need to be approachable, to smile, and sort of like always be open. And if you love people, then
Yeah.
go for it. Why not? This industry has just been male dominated because there's always been more men looking after their bodies than women. Though women only in recent years started going to gym. When I was in school, I finished school in 2000 and something. Not to give all my age away, but going to gym wasn't a thing.
Yes.
It wasn't a thing for us, especially in our community as well. That wasn't a thing for us to go to gym and get fit. Now I'm working there and I'm seeing more teenagers, females coming to gym, and it's so exciting to see. So the industry is going to grow. There's always going to be a need in the health and wellness industry. There's going to be a need for more female fitness trainers because females feel more comfortable being touched by a woman, because sometimes you've got to sort of touch on places that's a bit intimate.
Yes.
So go for it. If this is something you want to do, don't think, oh, it's a male dominated industry, it's not for me. You will bring something different to the table.
Definitely. So before we end off, is there any last thing you'd like to add or say before we end off? Something maybe that we haven't touched on or that I haven't asked you?
I think it's very important for women to find their voice. So the way you do this is know what your values are in life and have the courage to speak up on your values when you find yourself in a situation that's going against that. But do it in a respectful manner. Do it in private. Don't be reactive. Be a woman. Just be in your softness. And that intuition that we feel, that gut feeling, when our spidey senses go off, listen to it. Quiet yourself and actually listen to it, because 9 out of 10 times is probably spot on.
Love that. Thank you, Nicole. For anyone who is watching this and maybe wants to get in touch with you, how can we get in touch with Nicole?
You can find me. You know what? I take you admit how dirty I am. Let me just bring out my social media stuff.
Go for it, because sometimes,
But
you know, some people don't know their own X or the tags or something.
exactly. But you can find me on Instagram at Nicole.Rynhoud. So that is Nicole dot R for rain, Y for Yankee, N for November, H for hotel, O for Oscar, U for uniform, and D for Delta, because nobody can spell my surname. But you'll find me on Instagram, and you can just click on the link in my bio and get all the information with regards to what I do.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole, for chatting to us and taking the time out of your busy schedule. So we appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing and hearing more from you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun, Layla. I really feel honored, and I hope that just one, even if it's one person, that they just get some insight from today. That would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I had fun. Thank you.
Yay, thank you.